Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay, I think so. How are you doing? Good so far? Enjoy it? I do. Actually, it's now my 5th time here at Laracon EU, so it's fair to say it's my favorite conference. I really appreciate all the work that Sean does and all his crew. And it's the first time that I'm here in Amsterdam on stage, so this is special to me as well. So I'm happy to share this moment with you together. So thank you, Sean, and yeah, welcome to my talk. My name, as you heard, is Christoph Rumpel, and I'm a web developer from a beautiful city called Vienna in Austria. You probably have already been there. If not, you should definitely check it out. So if you want to contact me, stay in touch, have any questions about my talk, if you want to do pictures from the talk, please go ahead and use my Twitter handle, which is just Christoph Rumpel in one word together, very easy to remember. Speakers always appreciate if you do some pictures and tweet about that, so that's always nice. So my talk today is called The Beauty of Laravel's Notification System. And with this talk, I want to give you an introduction to Laravel's notification system. We're going to talk about how you can use notification, what are notification, what are different channels we can use, and I'm also going to show you how you can implement it into a real application. So I think it's going to be fun, and I hope for you too. So let's get right to the topic. So what are notifications? So let's start with some examples. Here we have a message from the documentation of Laravel saying a notification is like a short, informal message, telling about something that has happened in your application. So what could that look like? So what about this one? This is from my GitHub account. So we see here a blue icon on the top, and it tells me that there's a new notification on GitHub. And it tells me about maybe a new pull request, maybe there is a new message on one of the threads. So this is something what you can do with a notification. But also, this also is a notification. This one is an email that I got from DigitalOcean telling me about a new invoice that was created in my application. So this works as well. And then we have something like an SMS. So on the left, you can see an SMS that I got information about my flight, which was changed, and on the right, about a reservation in a restaurant. So there are different channels that we can send notifications through, and it looks different for everybody. So email is different from an SMS, and the notification on an interface is also different. OK, but what about Laravel notification? And I think we should just dive right in, and it's demo time. Let me just put that here. So this is going to be fun for you, hard for me, because live coding is always pretty hard, especially in front of so many people. So let's just see how it works. So I have here a basic Laravel application, and now we want to create a new notification inside this application. So what you can do is Laravel is create a new notification with an artisan command, and I'm using the art shortcut, which just is PHP artisan. And now I'm calling make notification, and we're going to want to create an invoice created notification. So here you can see already by the name invoice created, so we want to notify about that the invoice was already created. So we don't want to create the invoice with the notification, we want to notify the user about it. And now with this command, I have this new notification here in my notification directory. And let's take a look at what we get here from this boilerplate. So we have a constructor, so we could pass in some data, but we don't need it for now. And then we have this via method. And this method tells Laravel which channel to use to send this notification. And by default, it's the mail channel. So it sends out a notification via an email. And as you see, it's an array, so probably we can add more to that later. But let's just deal with an email for now. So for every channel that you provide here, you want a method that tells you or tells Laravel how to structure this message. And as we've heard already, the channels are different, and so the messages are also different. So here for the email, we have these two email methods. So this is for the mail channel. And here we define a new instance of the mail message, and this provides us some nice methods here to style and structure our message. OK, so let's change the boilerplate here, and let's say we just, if I can type it correctly, we just created a new invoice for you. OK, this is good. And then here with the action method, we could define a button inside our email. So let's call it download. So maybe the user can download the invoice. And yeah, let's just keep the URL empty because it's enough for this demo. And I'm going to leave this line here where we say thank you. But one thing I want to add here now is a subject to our email. So there's also a method for that. And let's say new invoice for you. Let's keep it simple. OK, so we have defined how a message will look like. We have defined the channel through which we want to send this notification through. And now we need to trigger that in some way. And there are some different ways how you can do that. What I have defined here is an endpoint for notification. And here I'm triggering some code. So one way to trigger notification is through the notification facade. So let's call that. I think it's that one here. And on this one, we have now a send method. And this send method now gets notifiables. So in Laravel, notifiables are models that you can send notifications to. And inside our user model, we have this notifiable trait here. And this tells Laravel, OK, this model is something that we want to send notifications to. OK, so we are going to grab the first user here from the database, first one. And I have already prepared these users here. So here, this is me, and there's also Claudia, my wife. Good, and now we need to provide the notification instance. So let's create a new one. And we call it invoice created. And we don't have any parameters. OK, and that's it. I just need to correct that here. OK, perfect. And now when we hit this endpoint, we should see a new email notification. OK, let's try this out. Let's go to the notification endpoint. Make this bigger. It's a blank screen, so this looks good. This means no errors. And what I should see here now is a new notification in Mailtrap. So if you don't know Mailtrap, it's a service that you can use that gets all the emails that is being sent out from your application. So this is perfect for demoing or debugging emails. So the emails don't get to the actual users. Yeah, and here we see now this email. And if I can make it bigger, yeah, so here we have it. By default, mail notifications come with this beautiful Laravel template. And we have here the message that we have defined. We have here the button and the second message as well. So as you've seen, it's pretty easy to start with dealing with notification and create mail notifications here with just a little bit of code. And yeah, what we get already looks pretty cool, in my opinion. So what do we have next? So let's go back to our notification class. And now inside here, let's deal with the database channel. So with the database channel level, you can store notifications inside your database. And this is something that you need if you want to show notifications on the front end, like we've seen with GitHub. So they maybe have stored it in the database first. OK, so now that we have the database channel defined here, we now need a toDatabase method to define what we want to store there. So down here, we have a toArray method. Actually, the toArray method would work as well, but yeah, let's just go with toDatabase. And what we return here is just an array telling Laravel what to store inside the database. So probably this would be something like a message. So let's say we just created a new invoice for you. And then maybe it depends on the front end and how you want to use these notifications, but maybe an URL so that you can link the user to this new invoice. And again, let's just keep it empty so it's a little bit more simple. OK, and inside our route file, we don't need to change anything. We have defined what we want to do inside the notification class. So let's go back to the browser here and refresh my endpoint. And you probably have seen now that it was much faster because we're not sending an actual email anymore. We're storing something in the database. And now inside the notifications table, you can see here this new notification that we just created. So it comes with a unique ID. We have a type, which is the class name of our notification. So this is the invoice created class here. Then we have a notifiable type, which is a user model for us. And we did send it to the first user, which has the ID of 1. And here, let me just make this a little bit bigger. So here we now have our message that we have created. And this is being stored in the database as JSON, and we could use it in whatever way we want to. So this is pretty cool and quite useful for the front end to show this information on your interface. Good. So far, so good. So what do we want to do next? Now let's take a look at an example how we can integrate notification into a real example, into a real application. So what I have provided here is a Nova application. So when we go to this endpoint, just need to log in. And if you're not familiar with Nova, it's an administration tool by Laravel that you can use to store and manage your resources. And I've used this one to store me and my wife here. So these are the 2 users that we have. And we also got recipes. So like here, take a look at this pizza. Everybody loves pizza. And I'm sorry, I know we are right before lunch. So it's not the best to show some pizza images now. But we like to do new recipes. And that's what we do. So that's why we have it here. And now we want to integrate notification into the system. And what I want to do is when we create a new recipe here, let me just get rid of that. So when we create a new recipe, we want to store this recipe in the database. And we want to show the user and tell all the users about it. So when I create this recipe, we probably want to notify the other users about it. So how can we go about that? So first, of course, we need a new notification class. So let's make one. And let's call it recipe created. Again, the recipe was already created, and then we want to notify the user about it. And now inside here, I have this new class. And I'm going to delete all the code here and pull in something that I have already prepared just for you. Here we go. So now we want to pass in through the constructor the recipe that was already created so that we can use the information like the name of the recipe. And I'm also going to store the use of the recipe because, we want to say that this person created the recipe. And now here I'm going to define that I want to send this notification through mail and through Slack. So we have 2 channels now. And this also means we need to define these 2 channels, how the message should look like. So for the mail, we're going to say a new family recipe was created. And then we're saying that the specific user, so maybe me, Christoph, just created a new recipe and the recipe name. And for the action, I'm going to use a button called check it out. And we're going to link the user now to this new resource. OK, pretty straightforward. And for Slack, we also need to define how the message should look like in Slack, because Slack message is different from an email. But Laravel provides us also with this nice Slack message class that we can use. And here we say it's a success message. So this means we get a nice green border under the message. We have some content here. And then we have an attachment. And attachments with Slack is something like a table where you can define more data in a nicer way. And we are going to provide a title, which is the recipe name, and an image. OK. So we have defined that we want to do that. Now we need a way to trigger this notification inside Nova. And one way to do that is through an observer. So what I have here already is a recipe observer. And observers in Laravel hook into Eloquent, and they take a look at the actions that, at the events that are happening when you create something new. And here we have a created method. So this means when we create a new recipe model, we get right here into this function, and we can make use of this recipe here. And that's exactly what we want to do. In order to make an observer work, we need to set up here this observer to the recipe model in your app service provider. So that's also something that I have already prepared. All right, so in here, I now want to grab all the users from the database. except the one who has created the recipe. So I don't want to notify myself about it because I know. So let's use this recipe model here. Let's get the user, and let's get the ID of the user. OK, and now we want to loop through the rest of the users. So I'm calling the each method here. I'm going to provide an anonymous function where we get a user model. And I also want to use the recipe here inside. And let me just format that. Yeah. So we're looping through over all the users. We don't want the user who created the recipe, and then we're looping through the rest of the users. And now I can take this user model and use the notify method on it. So the notify method is not something that I have defined in my user model. It comes with the notifiable trait by Laravel that is already by default in the user model. And now the only thing left here is to add here this recipe created notification instance, and we're going to pass in this new created recipe. OK, so I think we're ready to go, so let's give it a try. Let's create a new recipe. I'm going to choose a file here from my desktop. So let's say lasagna. I think everybody loves lasagna as well. And I always love to add an emoji. Let's take this flag. And this recipe is by me. And what I also want to provide here is a public URL to this message, to this recipe. And this is because we're now sending something to Slack, and Slack needs this URL, this image, to be publicly available. And since my application is just locally, I'm going to provide this here through this extra field. OK, now with a little bit of luck, we should get now 2 notifications. Let's try it out. Dun, 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 dun. OK, no errors. That's a good sign. Then inside Mailtrap, you can see here this new email. Let me just make it bigger for you. So Christoph just created the lasagna recipe, so that's good. When we check it out, we should get to the resource. Yeah, here we have it. That's fine. And yeah, you can clap if you want. I think it's already a little success here. And also we have here now the Slack notification. So that worked. But that was the easy part. Now it's getting more difficult, so you can clap after the next task as well. But this, by the way, is how a Slack message looked like, and this is a basic Slack theme that I've provided just for this demo here. Good. Now, inside our recipe notification class, now we want to store the recipe in the database. And we're going to use the broadcast channel as well. So what we want to do is we want to send out a real-life notification to all the users using WebSocket so that the user immediately see this new notification. And you probably have noticed here in my Nova application that we have this bell here. And this is a package that I have added for Nova. It's called Nova Notification Feed. And this adds this bell here and this sidebar for notifications to the front end. And it supports different WebSockets packages. And of course, I'm using the one by Freek and Marcel, Laravel WebSocket Server. And yeah, what we want to do is exactly what we see here, send out a new notification and see it immediately in another browser. So let me just check that everything is set up correctly. So there is this WebSocket endpoint that I'm going to hit. Let's connect. OK, this looks good. I think we're set up. Now back in our notification, we have defined the database channel. So here we have defined some data that we want to store in the database that we need then on the front end. So it's like the level of the notification, the message, the URL again of the resource, and how do we want to open it, new tab or not. And then we also have now this toBroadcast method, where we define this Nova broadcast message so that we send this through the WebSocket to our front end. So I'm going to exit here from the full screen. And I'm going to bring in another browser. So in the second browser here, I'm going to log in as my wife. I hope she doesn't notice. So, and we should see now a new notification here when we create one in another tab. OK, so let's try this out. It's a little bit small, but I think we should do that. Let's go with pancakes. Pancakes. Of course, I got an emoji here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Now this is by me. We don't need now an image because we don't send something through Slack. And now with a little bit of luck, we should see a new notification. Ta-da! You can clap now. So I'm really happy that this was working now. We see this new recipe here. Thank you. And we see here in the sidebar that when we click on it, we get directly to this resource. So these are a few ways how you can use notification in a real-life application. And yeah, it's pretty easy to set up, and you have lots of possibilities how to use them through different channels on the front end, through email, through SMS or Slack. And yeah, that's pretty cool, I think. And Laravel helps us a lot to make this super easy. But there is more. So we can queue notifications. So this is pretty cool. When we queue them, we can also delay them. Maybe you want to send out a welcome message to a user 30 minutes after they have subscribed. You can use on-demand notification. So right now, we're talking about users notifiable inside our database. But sometimes these users are not inside your database. Then you can use on-demand notification with the notification facade and provide the information to who to send this notification to right there. Then there's testing. There's some nice testing features. You have fakes of notification. You can easily test that they have been sent without them actually being sent. That's also pretty nice. And then there are custom channels. So we talked about mail, Slack, SMS, and database, which are provided by Laravel. But there's this project called Laravel Notification Channels. And it's a project started by Marcel, Mohammed, and Freek. And yeah, they helped put together many people and create lots of different channels that we can use. So there are Facebook, Evernote, Telegram, Wunderlist, To Do It, you name it. It's like 30 or 40 packages that you just need to pull in, set up some config, and you can use them pretty easy like the others. And pretty special to me is now this Twitter package, because that's the first package that I ever built, and it seems it still works. So pretty good here. Yeah, if you want to clap again, yeah, just do it, thank you. And yeah, so this is how you can use notifications in Laravel, how you can integrate it into an existing Laravel application. And as you've seen, there are many things you can do with it. And I think it's super interesting and super cool how Taylor built the system so that we can really use it in this simple way. If you want to learn more about Laravel, more about notifications, more about what I do, I recommend my course, which is called Laravel Core Adventures. In this course, I'm going with you in videos directly to the core, and we check out how main parts of Laravel are built, like notifications, like facades, like the container, like the request lifecycle. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, since 3 weeks, there's also now a pro version of it. So a lot of videos are for free, but if you want to see all the videos, you give me a little bit of money, I give you all access to all the videos. So I think that's a fair deal for everybody. I can live, so I think that's pretty fair. And for you, I got a little coupon today, so it's minus 15% with this coupon code. So it's LCA-love-Laracon. So yeah, take your picture, share it, use it. It's available today and tomorrow, just for this conference. But that's not it. Just for this conference, I also released a new video category called Kingdom of Notification. So if you're interested in more things about notifications, go out, check this video series at laravelcoreadventures.com. And with this series, I'm explaining how the notification system is implemented inside the core. So how did Taylor do that to make this all happen? And I can just tell you, it's pretty interesting, and you will learn a lot. And especially by learning how the core works, you will feel much more comfortable while using it. And I also brought some stickers, so yeah, reach out to me. They're also on the sticker table, but I also have them with me. So yeah, come to me, talk to me. And how do you end the notification talk best? So that's what I thought, and I think the best way is with a notification. Okay, so let's just do one more thing. And what I have already prepared for you is here this Twitter endpoint. And we're going to send out a release tweet about my new series together with you. Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? And here we define just the message again for Twitter. So I have pulled in the Twitter package, which is pretty easy, and then you can use it like here, which is a Twitter status update. So we're going to send something to my Twitter profile. And we're saying, hey, I just released a new Laravel co-adventure category live on stage at Laracon. We're providing a URL, and we need an image. So yeah, let's do an image together, okay? So what I need from you is, everybody please raise your hands. Can you do that for me? Oh, wow, that worked much better than I thought. Pretty cool. So let's try to get you all in there. Yeah, you can make some noise. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So let me just send this now to my laptop. Here, look down, here, look down. I think that's the best. Okay, I'm going to share it now. It looks good. Let me just get now to my browser. And inside here, yeah, we have it. Let's rename it to Laracon. Oh, that's not possible. OK, there's an old one. That's me at home testing that. Not that interesting, so let's delete that. And let's use that. Laracon. Let's copy it. I'm going to copy it now to my public folder here. Here we have it. Laracon, OK. Yeah, let's just add it. And now, when I hit this endpoint, we should see inside my Twitter profile, which I have here. OK, let's let this load. OK. And now let's go to the Twitter endpoint. And now wish me luck one last time. Takes a little bit longer, which is good, because it needs to upload the image to Twitter. Still uploading it, and uploading. Uh-oh. Ah, damn. What did go wrong here? Let me try again. I think it's probably because of the internet. Give it one more try, and if not, I'm going to switch to my hotspot. We need to make this happen, OK? I'm not leaving the stage here until we have this on Twitter here together. OK, let's switch here now to my iPhone. Still got 20 seconds, so this should be enough. Come on, you can do it. Da-dun, da-dun. Please do this for me now. Uh-oh, it looks good. Let me just check here. Yeah, here we have it. Thank you very much.